Claude thought that even from the four heroes, no one can defeat Merlin, and if he joins their side, then they will achieve their goal. Merlin was happy that he obtained the 5,000 gold coins, and while leaving, he noticed a key on the floor. And in front of Claude's eyes, Merlin picked the key. Claude then asked Merlin to give the key to him, and in return, Claude will give him 200,000 gold coins. Merlin was shocked to know that this key worth 200,000 coins, and he thought to bet everything on the racecourse. But suddenly, he heard Alice's voice. Alice appeared and told Merlin to not give the key to Claude. She explained everything to Merlin, that Claude is an undead, whose plan is to revive the previous realm. And if he wants the key, this means there must be a big secret hidden in it. Merlin thought that the key is for a treasure, and if he can find that treasure, then he will be able to pay all his debt. Claude concluded that in order to ensure the success of the plan, these two must be killed. He then quickly dashed toward Alice and attacked her. But Merlin stopped Claude's attack and saved Alice. Merlin said that he can't let Alice die, as he doesn't want to pay the full rent. Claude then asked Merlin to hand over the key, and forget about what happened here, then he will let him go. But as Merlin was declining his offer, Alice attacked Claude and managed to injure him. As the holy sword was effective on Claude, so Alice believes that he truly is an undead. Alice then suggests Merlin to work together so they can defeat Claude, but Merlin declined, as he doesn't join hands while fighting someone. Merlin then tells Claude that Alice won't interfere, so now they can have their 1 versus 1 battle. Claude removed his mask and accepted Merlin's challenge. He then awakened his Tempest mode and dashed toward Merlin to attack him. And as Claude was about to strike Merlin, he looked into his eyes and jumped back. As in Tempest mode, Claude's senses are extremely sharp, so he can tell that Merlin is extremely dangerous. Claude said that even though he's scared of Merlin, but this makes him happy because an enemy, on whom he can use his full powers, has appeared. Claude then released his full power and dashed toward Merlin, and after several attacks, he thought that he managed to kill Merlin. But the next second, Merlin swung his sword and slashed Claude. In his last moments, Claude muttered that he killed him, so how? Merlin replied that it was just an afterimage. You are fast but not fast as my sword. Claude then remembered that he was killed before with the same sword, and muttered, as expected from the strongest demon Lucifer, and die. Merlin looked at Claude's body, and he thought he must have misheard it, because he rarely travels, so there's no way someone would know him outside the demon race. Alice then went close to Merlin and tell him that the key might have some secrets, so he need to give it to the country, but Merlin refused. He then offered Alice that since they are acquaintances, they should divide the treasure, but Alice asked how did he know that the key is for a treasure. Merlin then explained Alice that he has a debt of some 1,000 coins, but she has several million on her head, and if she doesn't agree to his offer, then she will be a slave for her entire life. With no other choice left, Alice accepted his proposal, but thinks that she is scammed by Merlin. Merlin then said that there is just one problem. How can they find the key's secret? Alice said that she has a friend who is very knowledgeable, so they can ask her. Suddenly, the two were attacked by the remaining undead, who were attracted by the mana of the key. Merlin then told Alice to not drag him down, as they walked toward the undeads. A few moments earlier, the soldiers outside the maze were ready for the battle. Hobbs and Arnold were together, and as soon as the battle begins, they both quickly ran from the battlefield. But before they could escape, they were attacked by the three-headed skeleton. And as the skeleton was about to kill them, it disappeared in front of their eyes. Not just the skeleton, all the undead vanished, and the soldiers celebrate their victory. Hobbs and Arnold then quickly stood up and praised themselves. After a while, the leader gave 5,000 gold coins to Alice for defeating 2 saint-rank beings and the army of undead. Alice tried to explain that it was Merlin who did all of that, but the leader couldn't believe that an iron-plate adventurer can beat 2 saint ranks. Meanwhile, Hobbs and Arnold were telling Merlin that they defeated the 3-headed undead on their own. The leader then told a messenger to inform the queen that 2 saint ranks individuals from the previous realm had a battle, and when both of them weakened, Alice, a gold-plate adventurer, gave them a final blow, and Merlin, an iron-plate adventurer, has witnessed this. Meanwhile, in another place, a man was cursing Bernard as he was not able to bring the key back. The other members of the 4 heroes were bowing in front of the man and asked the man to calm down as he need to take care of his body. The man then asked Calzona about the investigation of Bernard's death. She explained that Bernard and the necromancer Ian had battled and were weakened when a gold-plate adventurer gave them their final blow. She added that according to her, the key is probably with that adventurer. The man then ordered the other two members, Zoe and Joey, to stay and protect the shrine, and ordered Calzona to head to Wrexham and take the key from that adventurer. 2 days later, Lugia welcomed Alice and showed her the news of her defeating the two saint-rank beings. Merlin then asked Lugia to give him his money. She explained that Merlin has earned 6,000 gold coins from the mission, and after deducting their debt, the total is 1,800 gold coins. Merlin and Alice then angrily asked Lugia that why did she calculate their debt and reward together. Lugia replied that according to the documents, the two of you are married, so all of your wealth will be combined. Alice then angrily asked the guild master about the documents. Taylor explained that in order to register Merlin as an adventurer, he used the loophole and register Merlin as Alice's husband. Also during the time of registration, Alice said that she will be the guarantee for Merlin. Merlin and Alice then asked Lugia if they can change this married relationship. Lugia replied yes you can, but first they need to show her their divorce certificate. Alice then heard Merlin's muttering that his debt was just some thousand, Alice was several million, and now he need to shoulder all of it. Alice smiled and thought that karma has hit Merlin, as he was the reason she is in this huge debt. Merlin then quickly quit being an adventurer and tried to leave, but Alice stopped him and said that he has to take responsibility for this, as no matter where he goes, he will still be a wanted criminal. Lugia then smiled and informed them that there is a rule for married couples that they must take a mission together or she won't approve it. She explained that in the past there was a pair of adventurer couple where the wife went on a mission and cheated on her husband, so the guild made this new rule. Arnold then suggests Alice to marry him, and if she did, then he will pay all of her debt. But Alice refused his offer as she can't sell herself to pay her debt. Merlin then asked Alice about the reward for Denbighshire. So after deducting the deposit for the house, gardening fees, maintenance fees, cleaning fees, grocery fees, and some other fees, all he got was a single gold coin. This shocked Merlin as he worked for so long and only earned a single coin. Back at home, Alice asked Merlin's thought, as now their debt is combined. Merlin said that they should forget about it as they can't finish paying it anyways. But Alice refused and said that there is still a chance as they can take SS or higher rank missions that pay at least 100,000 gold coins. But Merlin was not interested, as according to him, there isn't any SS rank mission in the guild. Alice then tells Merlin that according to the guild master, there was an SSS rank mission 10 years ago, and the reward for that mission was 20 million gold coins. And if they can just complete one high-level mission, then they don't even have to worry about their living, let alone the debt. Merlin got shocked and realized that leaving the money aside, his real goal of being an adventurer was to defeat strong enemies to increase his lifespan. So he concluded that he has nothing to lose if they can take SSS rank mission, and thought that if he used this money to pull out a win in the race, then he can live 7 lives without worrying. He then asked Alice if the SSS rank mission is really hard. Alice replied yes, it is extremely hard, and according to the guild master, the SSS rank mission from 10 years ago has something to do with the giant monster of the North Sea, and none of the saint rank adventurers could defeat it, so in the end, a hero from the church helped them. She said that he was her senior, the legendary spear hero, and to her surprise, Merlin knows about him. Merlin tell her that his mother fought with the spear hero, and that was the most amazing battle he had seen in his life. Merlin then asked Alice if she knows anything about the spear hero, because he might be able to lift his curse fighting the spear hero. Alice replied that she doesn't know much about him, just that he was a legend, and one of the 10 legendary heroes. This shocked Merlin, as there are 10 people capable of fighting, so they are worth being slayed. But Alice doesn't know about their whereabouts. She said that one day, the bishop was drunk and talked gibberish about how the legendary heroes have all disappeared, and if one of them were here, they could press Merlin Lucifer 3 on the ground, and make him call them daddy. Merlin then takes out the key, and asked Alice when will she take him to her friend, so they can find the treasure. Alice said that she is currently on a mission, so as soon as she returns, she will take him to her. Then, the next morning, Merlin was reading the newspaper in the toilet, while Alice was begging him to come out, as she can't hold it any longer. And as Merlin came out, he heard the doorbell. He opened the door and find Lugia outside the house. She tell Merlin that the two of them need to go with her, as the Redbud Knights from the capital have sent some people to see them. After a while, they reach the guild, where Merlin reminds Alice to not confess anything about the key. The Redbud Knights then entered the guild. Their leader, Brent Chapman, went close to them and introduced himself. He then asked them about the incident and what they know about the four heroes and the guardians of the previous realm. Alice tells him that the two saint ranks were talking about reviving the previous realm and obtaining a new power, but as she was too far away, so she couldn't hear them clearly. She added that according to Bernard, the person who revived the four heroes is the prince from the previous realm, who has lived to now by sucking elves' blood. Brent thought that as the population of elves is very sparse, then they might be able to track their stronghold. Brent then asked Alice how did she defeat the two saint ranks, because even if they are on the verge of death, Alice should not be able to kill them. Alice said in a low voice that she didn't defeat them, and pointed towards Merlin and said that he was the one who killed them. But Brent and the other knights laughed at Alice and assumed that she is trying to give credit to her husband. Alice just looked at them with teary eyes, as no matter what she say, the knight won't believe her. Merlin then interrupted their conversation and said that the necromancer and Bernard weren't that strong. They were just high rank. Brent concluded that the four heroes from the previous realm are not that strong, and praised Merlin for telling the truth, unlike Alice. The knights then said goodbye to them and left. Outside, as the knights were leaving, Brent noticed a woman passing by and got shocked. He thought that the woman resembles the dragon-taming robber Kaltsona from the previous realm. But as the four heroes have no reason to come to Wrexham, he thought that he probably mistook it just now. After several days, Alice was secretly training near a waterfall. She attacked the waterfall and freeze it, but the water pressure destroyed her ice. She muttered that she's a bit far away from the saint rank. Suddenly, she heard a voice saying, "No, it's not a bit, but the distance between sky and earth." She turned back and found Merlin, who was laughing at her. She asked, how did he know she was here? Merlin replied that for the past few days, Alice was leaving early and arriving late, and as he was curious, so he followed her. Merlin then said that trying to break through like this is not the correct way, she is just wasting her time. He tells her the secret of how he became strong. He said that the answer to becoming strong is to put yourself in a near-death situation. Alice thought what Merlin is saying is true, as after being beaten half dead by the Goblin Emperor, her mana and aura got refined. But she denied this, as she is not stupid to seek death out of blue. Merlin then offered to be her training partner, as if her level increases, then she can help more in reducing debt. But she still refused and said she will be in danger if Merlin is harboring bad intentions. Disappointed, Merlin then picked a twig and said he will use this while fighting. He then insults Alice and reminds her of the time when he snatched away her armor. Alice then angrily attacked Merlin, but her attack was cancelled by Merlin's anti-magic. She then dashed toward Merlin and attacked him, but her speed was too slow for Merlin, as he was just toying with her. Frustrated, Alice then dashed toward Merlin with her full power, but Merlin knocked her down by mistake. After a while, Alice was angry at Merlin to hit her. Merlin said sorry as his hand slipped during practice, and is even preparing a meal for her. And as soon as Alice took the first bite, she couldn't believe just how delicious was this. But she gets more depressed, as Merlin is not only better at fighting, but is also better at cooking. She tells Merlin that from now on, she will do the chores, and he will be in charge of meals. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe,